again. I'm really glad to welcome Colin, Katerina, Kyle, and Artem to discuss about from monopoly to mutualism, how GameFi and the Web3 are transforming the business models of gaming. We had this morning a few really interesting panel discussion, and I'm sure that our current guest will deliver really valuable insight. So first, let's introduce each one. Katerina, up to you. In a few words,
Sure.
who you
Well,
are, and the main question, shortly, if you can. Uh, I really do appreciate the why, and I mean why you are involved in doing what you do, and what you expect to bring to the whole Web3 ecosystem.
sure. Well, with pleasure. First of all, thank you so much, Laurent, for inviting me here, and thank you all the panelists who are joining. I think our discussion is going to be really fruitful. My name is Katrina Volkova. I'm co-founder of Rio, and at the same time, I'm Chief Strategy Officer of RTC. It's a marketing agency, and at the same time, we have incubation. We have also small fund. I am also co-organizer of Meta Foresight. It's uh, one of the global events that is upcoming in Hong Kong, dedicated to Web3 mostly. And at the same time, I'm advisor to some projects in GameFi, DeFi, and VR space. So talking about myself, I joined blockchain in 2016, 2000, early 2017, when it was first bull run, when people were just um, investing crazily in blockchain space without reading white paper, without looking at economics and understanding what the project is about. And for me, I joined. I didn't invest that time because I was working with some traditional funds, and actually, I also launched two startups of mine. And I was looking at blockchain as something new, something that is going to change the world, change financial system. Because before I was used to be in diplomacy, so for me, everything regarding the world is somehow important, I could say. And I do believe that Web3 is going to be a game changer for the whole ecosystems, not talking about financial ecosystem, talking about business industries, talking about even healthcare, and talking about just countries globally, because we already see that main blockchain leaders like CZ, also Ripple, also Vitalik, they're supporting different countries, emerging countries all over the globe. And we also see blockchain changing the landscape of businesses. More and more companies would like to implement blockchain into their space. Well, that's it. I hope I covered all the questions.
Then up to you. Thank you, Katarina.
Hello all, nice to meet you. It's a pleasure to being here. My name is Artem. I'm one of the co-founders of the Blockcheck R&D Lab, that is a Web3 software house with the focus on the blockchain gaming. And also we are a startup studio that incubates projects on different stages, especially from the technical expertise. And the last year we are focusing on the tone, and in Prague, we are running a local tone hub for developers and entrepreneurs.
Welcome again. Kyle,
Yeah.
welcome.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kyle White. I am the co-founder of Interstellar Digital's venture arm. I also help blockchain companies and traditional companies that want to do a SPAC through SPAC Deals Club. I was first exposed to Bitcoin actually through Silk Road when it was very difficult to onboard fiat dollars onto Bitcoin at that time. I don't even know if I should be saying I participated in Silk Road, but it was only for absinthe, so I hope I don't get in any trouble. But then from there, at Techstars, I started to kind of get a little more exposure to the Ethereum ecosystem. And I joined the Bank to the Future, massive ICO, one of the first large ICOs back in the day. So then now I focus on helping companies with their tokenomics and helping them scale. I write market updates for Cointelegraph. You've probably seen some of my articles like why Bitcoin's up today, why Bitcoin's down today. So I like to do a lot of different analysis on what's going on in the market, both at a macro level and a micro level, but I tend to focus on-chain analysis. I like the data. I don't like the speculation. Not a hype boy, don't consider myself a Deegan. I like on-chain data, and that's kind of what I hope to bring to this discussion today.
Thank you, Kyle. And Colin, nice to meet you, Colin. I didn't get a chance yet to meet you. I'm a Rubik user, mostly on a daily basis.
Awesome. Love to hear it. Everybody, I'm Colin O'Brien. I am the head of public relations for Rubik. Rubik is a cross-chain tech aggregator. We are unifying the architecture of Web3 to make it accessible for everybody, regardless of what chain ecosystem you are involved in. I got back into crypto in 2016, 2017 as an investor and started working in the space for the last few years now, and been hooked ever since. I'd like to throw out there too, based on the discussion today, that I've been a gamer pretty much my entire life. Since I could hold a controller at the age of 3, I've been playing games. So hopefully I can bring some of that to the discussion today.
Thank you, Colin. I'm really I'm not a gamer personally. I assume I used when I was young, but it's so far away. 40 years ago. So you can imagine what kind of game I could use. Ping pong. And I'm really impassioned to hear your thought about the today's topic, from monopoly to mutualism, how GameFi and Web3 are transforming the business model of the gaming industry. To introduce the topic, I'm often invited as a speaker, and on stage, I used to tell to people that we are often afraid or scared about the bear market or a strong regulation that could impact our industry, our ecosystem. But I say that in my point of view, the main danger is seeing emerging a centralized decentralization. So we are taking the opposite point of view regarding the gaming industry. What is your point of view? Who want to start and engage this debate?
I can start.
Okay,
I don't know.
Okay.
So then I will start. I will not cover all the points because I think we're aligned in most of them. So I would start probably with the possibility, like before we saw gaming industry highly centralized, and we saw that only producers of game actually they have the power in gaming industry. But nowadays, I think that the main thing that Web3 brought, like, it's the possibility of owning something inside the game, and so this possibility of ownership, of interoperability, because after that, once you own some, I don't know, like either character that you bought via NFT or some tool that you bought via NFT, you could later on resell it on different platforms. And here I'm talking about not only like particular chain platform, but I'm talking or particular one platform. I'm talking about multiple platforms, multiple chains, multiple, I don't know, like it might be even in game. And here we are basically like going from centralized model, highly centralized model, and of game producers to more decentralized model. And maybe you guys can continue, because otherwise I could talk about it forever.
So
Yeah,
one thing I guess I will note. Oh, sorry there, Colin. I'll keep going, but really, I think a lot of it has to do with playability and usability versus centralization and decentralization. Because a lot of what we're seeing go on into the space is these game studios, these AAA game studios, are the ones who are becoming kind of the most successful when it comes to people actually wanting to play the game. We saw a huge, in Web 2, it was freemium models, that drew these people in, gave them all these useless tokens. So at least now with the blockchain, maybe you can get something that you can resell, like Katerina said. But the people still need to want to play the game. If it's too slow on the blockchain because it's all on chain, or if the user isn't having a good time because of the quality of the game, mass adoption is not going to be as quick as we think. When you look at something like Roblox or even a Minecraft, those kind of allow a creator ecosystem within themselves, and they're not necessarily on the blockchain in Web3, but anyone can kind of be a creator in those ecosystems. So I do believe it is good for maybe independent creators, but we necessarily haven't seen that develop yet within the space. It's definitely something that we look forward to, but we really haven't seen it yet.
Colin?
Well, I could here slightly debate, because if you see like DeFi, like for sure we haven't seen these AAA games come into blockchain space yet. But I know that Ubisoft, for instance, they are working on some implementation of blockchain into their gaming industry, but they are very, very cautious about it. I just have a good friend of mine in Ubisoft, and Ubisoft is one of the leading game producers. So talking about, like, for instance, DeFi kingdoms, it's the whole ecosystem, and you even can merge different personages to have one of them. I don't know, like, it's one of my favorite games in GameFi space, and also you have different options, and for like savings, for also RPG, like, so it's interesting. And the pixel art actually is pretty cool. Or talking about Zilliqa, who is trying to create ecosystem about like around using different games, and they are launching in 2023, I think, like pretty soon. They announced that they're going to launch their own console, similar to Xbox, that is like very similar to like normal gaming console, but it's going to be implemented like blockchain space, like slide blockchain in it.
Oh, and I'm not
So
saying that it's impossible, but I think that we still have a way to go, because what we're seeing data-wise on chain is that gamers are preferring a more centralized blockchain like a Hive or a Wax versus Ethereum. I mean, Wax has 34% of all total Web3 gaming players. They're on Wax. That's not necessarily the most decentralized blockchain. So that's what, 310 times more than Ethereum gamers. So I do think that gamers right now, at least, are willing to sacrifice a little bit of decentralization for a faster and cheaper gameplay.
yeah, I would agree on it.
Colin?
Yeah, I would agree with that assessment. I think it's going to be a few more years until we see AAA publishers and developers get into the space in earnest, because the architecture isn't quite there yet. The infrastructure isn't quite there to handle tens of millions of players in a single game, especially like a persistent online game, looters and things like that are going to require a lot of NFT generation and a distribution to individuals. But I'm really, as a gamer who spent thousands of dollars on downloadable content, I am very excited at the prospect of being able to retain some of that value. If I, play a game for a couple of years and then I find something else that interests me more, I don't feel like those assets are lost. Right now, those are worth nothing. Right, like the company owns that. So the business models of the future, being able to own those digital assets and then resell them on the open market to give the free market the ability to price these items based on rarity, the time it takes to earn them and things like that. It's really attractive to me as a gamer. And so I'm very, very excited to see a lot of these Web 2 companies in gaming adopt this Web 3 model. Now, I do think there will be some type of hybridization of centralization and decentralization, but eventually it's going to get to the point where we have such a robust gaming ecosystem across multiple blockchain networks. One of the things that has me really excited is the ability of cross IP sharing. You see that a lot today with Fortnite partnering up, like Activision and Ubisoft partnering up. A lot of different game studios are doing cross collaboration. The individual ownership of digital assets is going to make that cross collaboration a lot easier, and it's going to entice people from different gaming communities to jump into other communities to participate. So I think it's going to just increase the robustness of the gaming community as a whole.
Thank you, Colin. Artem, what is your personal experience point of view? I understood you're directly concerned by the topic too.
Okay, so thank you very much. I agree with all what was told before. And from my side, I want to notice a few approaches how blockchain today is used in the gaming industry. So the first, of course, it is a monetization tool, a fundraising tool, and out-of-the-box secondary market platform that game developers can use to build their game economy. And other approach is integrational tool. So it's kind of new approach that can use game developers to build not only one game, but being integrated into the whole game ecosystem of other companies and projects that is building on one particular blockchain. And for example, one of the cases is Ready Player Me, the ecosystem of avatars, for example, that could be integrated in any kind of metaverse or online game. Or on other side, very fresh project, Island. It's a cross-chain metaverse that basically utilize Ready Player Me avatars and other avatars and even NFT collections. For that, this particular project provide the avatar utility for different NFT collections. So, and in this way, we see the blockchain as a development and business tool for a particular project.
Thank you. Guys, I have a question. I say it again, I'm not a gamer, and maybe my question is naive, but I have the feeling, and it seems that the time to go to market, to go live in Web3, in the gaming industry, is significantly reduced in comparison with the traditional gaming industry. What is your thought?
So I have a comment about that. That is just about different culture inside the industry, as it did on the current market between different companies. So basically, most of the Web3 games or hardcore classic games from classic enterprise companies is going to be developed into stealth mode. So the game is developing under some secret condition, and then the product is ready. It's going to market. But in the Web3 space, in the blockchain gaming space, we see the tendency that most of the projects started the open development and involve community in the project to test the gameplay and product hypotheses and to build the project with the community. So it's reduced the risks, and it's provided us an opportunity to be sure that when we go with our game to the global market, all product hypotheses will be tested with the community of the game that will support and participate on the promotion of the project in the early stages.
Interesting point of view. Kyle, what do you see regarding data and
Yeah, I think there's a major barrier to entry, even if the open source nature of, think about Unreal Engine, it might reduce development time. But at the same time, it's how do you get gamers to actually use your blockchain solution and play your blockchain game? So we've seen people do the play to earn model, and that necessarily didn't work. It created a huge dump of Axie, which to me is one of the stronger players in this space. They have a very complex game, and they continue to evolve. But because of that play to earn structure and all the different ways that it can be manipulated, mainly by bots, it kind of creates a high barrier to entry to actually grow a game in this space, at least currently.
And how could we resolve this main issue for the long run?
It's better
in order to
tokenomics.
get,
I mean,
I agree. Most of the project has really bad tokenomics.
Well, you got to think. I have. I don't know if anyone followed Krabata, but Krabata was booming. It was huge. It was the biggest gas burner on Avalanche for months, and it had looked like it had so much momentum, that it had so much growth, and then kind of came the realization that it was all bots, and these bots dumped the project, destroyed the project, and to me, I don't even think it runs anymore. I think. They tried stopping these mining bots, but when they did, what do I have written down here? They lost 37% of their traders. So that means that these people were just cycling this money just to dump. So the 70% or 60% of the people who were honestly playing and trying to earn were being hurt by these bad actors, by these bots, by these people who didn't care about the future of the game. They might be from a poor country, third world country, and that $2 sell or $3 sell is going to help feed their family for a week. So you can't necessarily blame them, but at the same time, it destroyed a beautifully made game.
Colin, your thought?
Yeah, I think it's hard enough kind of balancing just an in-game economy, let alone having digital ownership of those in-game assets be in the hands of your gamers. So I think we're going to see the evolution of gaming business models change drastically, tokenomics change drastically. It's my opinion, based off of what Kyle was just saying, right, that games will start to move away from play to earn towards play and earn, where you're rewarded with actual assets that make the game more fun or engaging to play versus some baseline, token that you earn just for investing time or player actions in the game. So I see that kind of evolving away from play to earn to play and earn. But kind of talking about what Kyle was mentioning too, I think the biggest issue right now is barrier of entry, right? Most people I know that play games don't know very much about blockchain. If they do, the big question is, I don't know what to do with that wallet, right? The average person is not going to keep a 12-word seed phrase. They're not going to jump through all the hoops that it takes right now to be involved in Web3. And when we finally solve that, yes, we'll get more people involved in these ecosystems, and it will make it easier for a lot of these projects to kind of weed out what business models are working and what aren't. But I think there's a lot to learn from all the different gaming projects that are out there right now over the next couple of years, how these business models evolve. Paying close attention to that and heeding the bot issue, right? Because there's going to be a big issue with people just trying to cash in for a quick buck, which could destroy in-game economies and could destroy the overall success of a particular game. So I think developers need to be very mindful of that and reward people for participating in their game more with assets that will help them enjoy the game more versus stuff that's just a pseudo job where they're just earning money in their free time.
Yeah, I do agree. Katarina, which advice could you give to game builders, Web3 game builders today to escape, this issue and this hype-based pump, and then seeing project mostly dead, as we have seen a lot recently?
Well, it's not even about the advice I would like to give. Like we see lots of projects who are dead because they came not for being a project, they came just to take money. And we saw lots of projects in GameFi industry who were just actually appeared out of nothing, not because they're great gamers, so they know how to run the game, but because they just like bought a cheap game that didn't go find like in Vietnamese or Chinese market or somewhere in Asia for pretty cheap, rescaled it, and put there some blockchain. And I guess like we all know these kind of projects, right? So and then like eventually the project died. So it's if you're talking about like legitimate project, if you're talking about like a real gamify project, for sure, I like Colin's idea about play and earn, and I'm excited to see more and more projects who are looking into traditional market and they do think how to convert blockchain into something invisible, so people would just like play, but I don't think that it would solve the issue regarding bots because all these games, unfortunately, there is huge competition. And in blockchain space, we have mostly people who are not uh, that much professional in the industry. Like I'm like if you're talking about average founders of the GameFi project and founders of games of Ubisoft, for instance, right? It's completely different level regarding experience of the managing project. So I don't think we would go somewhere far from rewards where everybody would use bots for. So the project still can collapse because of these bots. But at the same time, the economics, yes, Kyle, I definitely agree with you. Like projects should look more at that economics. And unfortunately, I haven't seen any, like brilliant economics that worked like 100%. Not yet. Maybe I missed something. I hope it's coming, or I hope I missed something. I don't know. But yes, it's mostly economics, thinking about your project as real business, thinking about your community, what might incentivize them, not only talking about rewards, thinking about the quality of the game itself, because we do need quality. We do need make games being interesting, what Kyle mentioned just in the beginning of our talk. And for sure, I could say that play and earn, what Colin said.
Kyle, what is your point of view? What could be the best, the perfect tokenomics, the best approach for a Web3 gaming project?
Well, how I like tokenomics in general is there has to be, because if you have all this sell pressure, there obviously has to be buy pressure there to help it out. I mean, look at Bitcoin in the past 2 weeks, because there was no buy pressure, all the open interest that was happening wasn't met with someone there to buy. So it kind of hurt our Bitcoin price here. So when it comes to play to earn, there has to be, if money is coming in, as soon as that money comes in, almost some of it needs to go to a reserve, and that reserve can help maybe cushion some of the blow, almost like an AMM, but for NFTs. So then your NFT isn't just a race to the bottom, it might be a little more gradual. Now, I kind of wanted to circle back because I think the onboarding is extremely important. And I did not invest in this project. I don't think it had a funding round, but the idea to me was genius. It's Bitendo. And Laurent, you might like this because you said you only used to play Pong. So that's kind of what they're doing, is they're taking these old games like Super Mario, Donkey Kong, and what they're doing is they're putting them in bars, conferences with a Bitcoin node in it. Because we've been hearing about ordinals and how Bitcoin can transfer data on the blockchain. So by putting a node with a little basic screen and these NES capabilities in there, all someone at the bar would have to do is go up with their phone, screenshot this, or go to this QR code, and then boom, they're onboarded. It doesn't take them more work. It's not like they have to set up a MetaMask, remember these seed phrases. And it's a little centralized because it does take you to a centralized exchange to earn Satoshis. So when you're playing this game at the bar, at first they're going to do it for free just to get people playing the game at the bar, and then when you refer someone to an exchange, you get a little kickback. So basically, that kickback is then going to the user. So now this user might never have had exposure to Bitcoin, but now just from playing a game that they loved when they were kids, Super Mario, they're earning satoshis. They're earning Bitcoin. It might only be a couple cents here and there, but that can really start to onboard people more to decentralized finance and to Bitcoin and to Web3. So I do kind of look that these easier ways to get people on the blockchain, like Colin said, is extremely important. And if we give them stuff that they know and we make it easy for them, we could see more users.
I think I should start to play again to Mario to earn some sats. So, Artem, what in a technical point of view, what could we improve and maybe radically change to facilitate user adoption onboarding? Because if you let me just share with you my personal experience, I was surprised organizing this event that to see so many Web3 people facing some difficulties to set up a MetaMask and so on, and except a centralized exchange wallet, they were lost. And I told to myself, oh, we should calm down talking about mass adoption until we involved in Web3 are all really really involved in having control of this innovation. In your opinion, what can we improve? I have seen a few gaming projects having a hybrid mode, Web2 logging and Web3 logging. Is it something that we will see more and more? Is it a solution? What is your point of view? Oh, we lost Artem. He's coming back.
I'm here. Thank you for the question. So if you're talking about the mass adoption in terms of gaming, I think one of the possible solution that is also in development in our labs, and also our friend teams, is integrated the blockchain or crypto wallets directly into the game engines. For example, now we are working or experimenting in the field of integrating ton wallets or generation of the private and public keys directly inside the build of the game. So you have installed game on your phone or in your PC, and inside that particular game instance, there is a normal wallet as the MetaMask, but here you basically can avoid the moment of creating wallet and writing the seed phrase. So basically, from the user's perspective, it will be really easy. It will be the same flow as they play at the usual game. But then at the moment, then people will be interested to move their assets and monetize their time spent in the game and their game assets, game progress on the open market, not inside the in-built marketplace that will not request some external wallet. So only in this moment, players will be pushed uh, to learn about how to create MetaMask or Trust Wallet or any other non-custodial wallet that that players can use to trade their assets on third-party marketplaces like OpenSea or different other ones.
So it confirms what you were saying, Kyle, that we should sacrifice maybe a bit the decentralization for now in order to better facilitate the user adoption, onboarding.
Yes, and we're seeing this even with layer twos and with wallets. I mean, we have Coinbase now creating their own layer two. Goldman Sachs wants to create their own wallet. So the easier we can make onboarding these people to DeFi, the better. Even if we have to sacrifice going through a centralized entity like Goldman Sachs or Coinbase to get there, we still need to somehow onboard fiat dollars for all of this to work. Because like I was mentioning, if there's no buy pressure on any of these game economies, they're just going to keep getting pulled lower and lower to the ground.
And Colin, you are a player. I think you have some friends also players, gamers. Do they play to Web3 game? Or your exception? How do you onboard your gamers friends? Let's say traditional game joining a Web3 game.
Sure. I mean, yeah, you need to make it as easy as logging in today, right? If you have a gamer tag, a Steam login, logging into certain platforms with your socials, right? With your Gmail account or Facebook or Instagram or etc. Like, we need to make it accessible for people to be able to just easily jump in. And yes, that's going to sacrifice some centralization or decentralization rather for that centralized method, but I think that's a requirement to get people in participating in these environments. And for developers out there, kind of going back to what you were saying earlier, do I have any tips for developers, things like that? It's to focus on the game and make the game fun and engaging. It's already difficult enough, right, to create a good game, an engaging game, and then balance in-game economy on top of that, so you don't break the game and ruin that level of fun or that chase, that carrot on a stick that gamers have. You don't want to like dilute the in-game economy, so just focus on making the game fun, and then everything else will come after that. But I think, and this is something that not a lot of people are really talking about yet. I know it's like the buzzword right now is AI, but I really think that the application of AI towards in-game economies and how that relates to the open market for Web3 digital assets is going to play a major role in balancing the economies. So like a perfect example is World of Warcraft, right? A game that's been around 19 years. They had people that they called them gold farmers, people that would just play the game to earn in-game assets and then sell that for real-world money. How do you de-incentivize people from doing that? That's just going to flood the market and reduce the value, and you're basically penalizing people who don't play that often, because then you'd have to increase the value artificially of all the in-game items because so many people are just flooding the market with the in-game token. So there needs to be an analysis of who's doing what in a particular game, and then balance that in-game economy, maybe throttle certain users that are playing 15, 16, 17 hours a day, throttle how much they're able to earn on kind of a gradual scale, and that will maybe curtail a lot of nefarious behavior that would destroy the in-game economy. But yeah, I think that there needs to be real data analysis of both the in-game and open market economies when it comes to the development of the Web3 gaming ecosystems. And it's something that developers should be mindful of. I do think AI is going to be a big tool in that analysis. So looking forward to seeing what developers do.
And we have Kyle ready also to share his data analysis. Guys,
so this is interesting too. What Colin brought up here is because let's say the in-game assets only keep going up, like we're seeing now with Axie once they kind of fixed their model. So now to start playing on Axie, you have to spend a lot of money just to get going, or you have to lease someone's characters just to be able to play. So there is even that balance of what happens if it goes too high. Then you can't onboard new users, which is also important. So it's really a big time balance there. And you're seeing with Alien Worlds, it's kind of a free to start, that right now they're blowing Axie out of the water when it comes to unique active wallets. They're around Splinterlands level right now, and their model it's kind of an idle mining strategy. So you just have to log in, I think, every day or something like that to kind of keep increasing your points. So that user who's 17 hours, 18 hours, like Colin mentioned, they're not going to necessarily get a bigger advantage from the rest of the folk. And that might help onboard some more people because, again, once it gets too high, it's hard to get new active wallets. I mean, Axie is barely in the, what do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're barely in the top 10. They're 7th now when it comes to unique active wallets across the whole GameFi sphere.
Very interesting point of view. Guys, the time is running so fast. I learned a lot. I want to thank you again. A last word for each one, and I promise that for the next edition we will have a longer panel discussion slot, so we will be able to continue further this discussion. We want to start for the last word. Kyle?
Yeah, just want to thank everyone here, all the panelists. You guys were all awesome. I loved hearing everyone's point of view because a lot of these questions are very difficult to answer. And that's why we need these people like ourselves and all of you to come together and really think about these hard ideas, not just how do we quickly get something into the market and make a bunch of money from fundraising and then forget about it. It's how do we scale this and how do we make this mass adoption happen? And the more we can get together in forums like this, thank you, Laurent and Web3 Foundation, the more we can do better for our industry and for the globe.
Thank you. Katerina?
Well, from my side, I think Kyle sum up it all. And I could say that it's definitely a pleasure to hear that we have such experts who actually looking at the market, who are not just taking some knowledge from the above, from the surface, and don't know anything what's happening in the market. So that's really cool to be with all of you on the panel today and to discuss everything and to debate in certain moments, but still, I'm fully aligned with what you said, guys. And I think with such experts, we have pretty fruitful future in Web3. And I like the idea of calling regarding AI and gaming economy. I do think it might be the future. I haven't thought about it, but yeah, why not? And thank you so much, Web3 Foundation, for this amazing initiative. I hope there are going to be much more like that.
Yeah. We plan to, thanks to you. Colin, your last word?
Yeah, thank you, Laurent. Thank you, Web3 Foundation, for having us today. Thank you to all the other panelists for sharing their opinions and ideas. Web3 is going to require a concerted effort by those within the industry, and I think working in unison is to the advantage of all of us. It's a multi-trillion-dollar pie, and there's enough pieces for everybody. So it's really refreshing to see that so many people in the space are on the same page. And I'm really looking forward to seeing traditional Web2 gaming companies come into the space open-minded and to learn from people who are already engaged in the space. So it's going to be very, very exciting in the coming years. And I hope to participate in future discussions. And shameless plug, check out Rubik.exchange.
Welcome. Artem, the final word.
Okay, thank you very much all for organizing this great event and this virtual summit. And in conclusion, regarding the topic, I would like to say that GameFi and the free technologies are transforming the business models of the gaming industry by creating new economic models based on mutualism. And as we already talked today, these new models enable players to become stakeholders inside the game economy and earning by playing games and owning in game assets. And also the game developers benefits from these new models. And it's creating new engaging and enjoyable game experience that generates more revenue. So the future of the gaming industry looks promising as GameFi and Web3 technologies continue to evolve, creating new opportunities for players and game developers. So let's see that new year will show us in this particular area, and I hope that we will see a lot of AA companies and enterprises come to the space and show what is blockchain gaming from the enterprise point of view.
Thanks to you guys. I will just add a last word. I cross my finger that for the next bull run, we will not face again, this huge wave of people coming and delivering short-term project, just trying to extract a lot of money in a short period of time, and rather seeing a long-term oriented vision builders, and it's what we want to promote with Web3 Stronger Together. Thanks again, guys. It was a pleasure, and see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.